I know John spoke a little bit about Mark Anthony Kay. I just want to add that Mark's been an important part of LAFC from the very beginning. On the field, off the field, just incredible contributions. He's an excellent guy. And I've really enjoyed working with him and wish him nothing but the best moving forward.
Thanks, Bob. We're going to start here with Katya. Go ahead.
Thanks, Ben. Hi, Bob. Nice to see you. I want to ask you how the group took the news and just what does it mean with Mark's departure? Also on the field, how do you see other guys stepping up?
Mark has a really good relationship with all the players here. Everybody respected what he brought to the club. He's had different conversations with players in this past period. And so my take is that the players understood his situation and weren't totally surprised by the fact that he has been traded. As far as the rest of our team, Mark's missed different games. We feel like we've gotten good efforts from different guys. Certainly Sifu's emergence, his high level of play in this last stretch has been something that we're all very excited about. I think he, as I mentioned the other day, started the season a little slow, wasn't that fit and sharp when he arrived, but has worked himself into things in a great way and has been one of our best players in this last stretch.
And one more, speaking of Sifu, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about his emergence. We're doing a special piece on him of what have you seen in particular this season that wasn't there maybe the last season, and how he has stepped up, maybe the chip on his shoulder that he mentioned at some point, not going to the national team, if that helped in a way at all.
Interestingly enough, it does help sometimes when they're staying here. We welcome when guys go away with the national team, but if they get in a situation where they're away and they're not playing regularly, and as we know in different moments with national teams, there's not that much training between games. And so we've seen situations where guys have left and come back, and we've needed time to get them up and running again. So I think in Sifu's case, he was moving along at the time of the international break, and by remaining here, we saw his confidence grow higher as he got sharper, as he made more plays. We've always felt that he's a midfielder who's capable of doing really good things as he moves forward. And so he's scored some really good goals. I think you've seen him more committed in games. He's putting more into it. He's giving more for the team, and that's a product of fitness. So his confidence, his fitness level, and just the sharpness of certain passes, seeing things quicker, those are things that have really been at a good level for him in this last stretch.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave Denholm.
Hey, Bob, you touched on it a little bit with Sifu, but can you talk about now with Mark Anthony, obviously with the trade, talk a little bit more about the depth in the midfield and maybe the comfort level there with even beyond Jose and the guys that you're working with?
Latif is still a steady player in the midfield, good energy. When he's at his best, his ability to pick up loose balls, make pressure on opponents, get out of tight spots and keep the ball moving, those are important things. So I think that's been at a good level lately. And we've seen different moments from both Pancho and Bryce. Pancho, solid performances of late, simple passing, guy who in the midfield defensively does a good job of getting in on plays, coming away with some balls. And then Bryce still has some special qualities, and just getting him more time to get comfortable on the field. But we've seen some good things from Bryce in small minutes.
Great, thank you.
Any Diosa?
Hey, Bob, how's it going?
Good, thanks.
Bob, you've talked about in the past of Mark's leadership qualities really being an integral part of his role. I'm interested to know if you've seen you said he has different conversations with different players. If you've kind of seen that translate to some of the younger players, or just his ability to kind of help some of these newer guys get accustomed to the different system.
Yeah, Mark always had a good way with all his teammates, and we've encouraged a group of guys in the last few years to take bigger roles. In addition to Mark, we've done that with Diego and Edward and Eddie Segura. Little by little, we're trying to get Murray to take a bigger role where he's more comfortable pushing teammates and encouraging guys. Sifu. So it's an ongoing process to get more guys to be part of the leadership. When you look at our team, yes, Carlos is captain, Jordan is an experienced veteran, but getting these other guys that have been here for a number of seasons to take bigger roles and become more important in helping teammates, that's something that we've certainly worked hard on, and I think we see that part helping a lot.
Charlie?
Hey Bob, Charles Gomez, MLS Soccer here. I wondered if you could share a little insight into your sort of cost-benefit analysis of not just Mark, but players in that sort of situation where I know you have your short-term needs and desires, and then you have to balance that with the long-term. And is that calculation evolving in modern MLS as players become more valuable commodities?
I think there's always different factors when you look at players. When Mark got here, it was an opportunity, and he picked up ideas quickly, and he made the most of it. And his 2018 got cut short with a bad injury. He continued, he worked very hard on the rehab. So as he got going in 2019, he was a huge part of our team. And then as time goes on, when players are going out with national teams, playing qualifiers, playing in Gold Cups, you try to assess where guys are in different moments. Where are they physically? Where are they in terms of the situation here? How do we keep moving things along? And there's always a part in these situations where you assess the interest that there is in a player, where we are as a club. The last, I would say 2020 and the first half of 2021 have been challenging because with the pandemic, some things that we thought might develop, whether it's selling guys, things have slowed down. And so, and we know last year, 2020, start, stop, so many challenges, and I just think that we're trying to continually make sure that the group of guys that are here are really motivated, that they appreciate everything that's gone on at LAFC. They are really committed, and that's their focus, and so at different moments you have to assess where guys are in the whole thing. And I think, as I mentioned, that Mark, his ideas on things were a little bit different than when he first arrived. He was still a team guy, still a lot into it, but there are other factors that he's considering, and he knew that there was interest in him from other clubs. He told me that. So, and again, how he found out, whether the agents are involved, but at a certain point, when a player is talking about the fact that there are other teams interested, then, part of what we have to do is assess what that means here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this last question for Bob, Josh Gross.
Hey Bob, in terms of what Mark brought on the field, what's going to be the most difficult aspect of what he brought to replace now that you don't have the ability to call him onto the team?
I think we all know that in the midfield, Mark was a two-way presence. He had versatility in the midfield. He could play deep in certain moments. In other moments, he moved up. His ability to play forward passes, find the right windows. He was part of a lot of really good goals for us. So just an all-round contributor in the midfield who helped us when we lost balls in terms of winning it back quickly. I think he did a great job of picking up ideas on how we wanted to play, and not only bringing that into his game, but making sure that the guys around him in the midfield understood those things.
And coming into this match against Minnesota, how's the energy been in the couple of days of training that you've had?
Yeah, it's been a stretch of a lot of games in a short amount of time. I think that we were on a roll. We had won 3 games in a row. We were incredibly disappointed to let points go at the end, or a point go at the end against Portland. We were very honest about the first half against Vancouver. Not enough guys were really ready at the start of that game. It's the first time all year where we fell behind 2-0. We had moments in the first half where we still won balls in good positions, but in terms of the sharpness to make more of those plays, not great. We did really well to get back to 2-1 before half. In that situation, we did win a ball. Raheem made a good play, played inside to Edward. Edward got away from the first defender and saw the small window and played an excellent pass to Carlos, and Carlos really took it well and finished with his right foot. We changed, 4 changes at halftime, plus we changed the way we played. The first half, there were moments when Edward got the ball where I felt that Latif wasn't in good position to get the next pass. Sifu was too high, and we didn't provide good enough options. And Vancouver was right around midfield, trying to get after balls quickly to see if they could produce transition. When we changed in the second half, it also altered a little bit the way we built up. Center backs spread out a little bit, and I thought it made it more difficult for Vancouver to press us in the middle of the field. And then we started the half finding more options going forward, created some good chances. It took us too long to get to 2-2. When we did, it was an excellent goal. And then in the end, after we got to 2-2, I don't think we did a good enough job of still pushing forward, connecting passes, having the right distances. And so we lost some balls in difficult spots where we were spread out after that, and allowed Vancouver to come back into the game. And we were lucky on the ball that came across that it was offside. But I didn't like what happened after it was 2-2. So a little bit of a roller coaster game. We looked at it, we talked about it. I think we've been pretty consistent of late. We've had a lot of games where we've limited other teams' chances. Quite honestly, even against Vancouver, their total number of chances wasn't high, but still there were moments where they threatened us, and we saw that. And we felt that it had a lot to do with us losing some bad balls and not doing a good enough job when they pressed us, finding the next play.
And just looking forward to Minnesota, is the energy activity just a mentality piece, or is it a pure physical response? How do you get into your players' heads that, hey, we have to get in the front foot from the start?
No, that's up to the players. I mean, obviously as coaches, you find every way possible to, in what you do in training, in your loads, in your video messages, in different individual talks. But the ability to make sure that, you know what, every time you step on the field, you have a clear idea of the things that we're about as a team. You've prepared yourself to be on the field and be ready from the start. The best teams have 11 guys engaged all the time. There's not too many times when the best teams play where a number of guys are sort of falling asleep at the same time. And that's got to be a standard for us. On our best days, we see a high rate of getting that part, getting guys involved, staying connected. And on other days, if we're a little too slow, or in certain moments some players are not as sharp and tuned in as they need to be, yeah, then we've got to look hard at why and what we can still do different. Was it a fitness issue? Was it the right choice to play that guy? So, yeah, we were disappointed, as I said, with Vancouver. And, you know, when you make 4 changes at halftime, and I think that speaks for itself. I thought overall the response in the second half to get the 2-2 was quite good. And then I thought we should have done more at 2-2 to finish the game and take 3 points. So these are still steps for us. I think if you take the whole season, there's been a lot of very good minutes. Overall, you would still say that defensively we don't give much away in terms of real chances, real shots, box entries. There still are moments where we allow a little bit too much transition. Usually that's when we get spread out and guys end up on the ball getting stuck or trying too much. And then in the attacking part of it, the pure sharpness, the kind of pass that Edward makes Carlos's ability to take that ball, finish it. You know, it was, I said in the press conference after the game, it was nice to see Cheeky, when he got forward, make the really good choice to pick out Sifu at the back post, because we get into those positions regularly. And now the timing of the pass, is it a ball that gets played across? Does it get cut back? Do you clip a ball to the back post? These are all different options that you've got to be able to take advantage of. So hopefully that's a good sign moving forward.